And here we are, and let's get the wait music going. We're waiting to stream. We are on Facebook. We are on LinkedIn. We're Facebook twice. We're waiting for YouTube. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. Okay, let's do this now. Dance with me, Mark. Oh, he's dancing. So you want to be a cool kid. Hanging with the inset. Where the inset. Looking real. Cool. Fine. Casting our net. So you want to be. We're streaming. Pop, 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 pop. I left my drumsticks in the other room. I'm Bonnie D here with my special guest today. I have a new cool dude. I think he's number 48 and he's thrilled to be here. He told me that. It's Mark B. Bello, Bello. And we've got some interesting things to talk about. Mark, how are you and where are you today?
We are in Fort Myers, Florida, in paradise, and we're doing pretty well.
Good. I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you accepted my invitation. We've got a lot to talk about, and you have some very interesting stories to share with us. So I'm going to get started, and I have a special gift for you. I have a special rhyming bio, the story of your life, as you sent to me. So let's see how I do with this. So here we go. You may know us well, Bonnie D and Mark B, Bello, too. Seasoned in life, oh yeah, and we love what we do. From socials, channels, virtual embrace, that's where we are. We're sharing our insights in this special space. Here on We Dish, we're here to play, lightening up life in a uniquely fresh way. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm welcoming Mark B., a truly cool dude. Here's my rhyming intro, and he'll add more, if there is more, with attitude. So here we go. From Long Island's lanes to Virginia's green hills, Mark's early years brimmed with lessons and thrills. A family of 7 with laughter and care. Childhood adventures were plenty to share. Catholic school hall, 60 kids in a room with nuns who brought order and discipline and gloom. But Boy Scouts taught Mark camping, survival, and grit. Cold winter campouts where tough kids commit. Mark delivered the papers for Newsday with pride, winning contests and prizes on his early career ride. From museum trips and hockey to the circus's bright glow, Mark hustled through his youth with ambition in tow. Then cars lit his passion, hot rods in his hand. James Bond movies inspired him, adventure felt grand. Though college felt burdened with outcomes unclear, Mark earned his degree and kept driving his gear. As a teacher, a mechanic, and a shop leader too, Mark mastered hard work in all that he'd do. In Florida, he built a contractor's life, resilient through changes, through challenge and strife. Dogs held Mark's heart since he first read the tale of Argos and Ulysses, loyal without fail. His family's black lab Mala brought joy day by day. Mark's loves for his canines never faded away. Then Melly arrived, a beautiful prodigy pup, counting and spelling as soon as she woke up. From flashcards to TV, Melly dazzled with ease, a superstar dog whose eidetic memory did please. Her sudden goodbye left Mark's heart torn in two. Yet he knew another pup's love would soon shine through. Marconi stepped in, also cognition so rare, another math dog, the world stops to stare. Marconi spells, adds, subtracts with memory grand. Negative numbers are at his command. From Melly to Marconi, the legacy grows of dogs redefining what science yet knows. Mark now dreams of a third to continue the flame, each pup an explorer of mind's boundless game. Mark's a cool dude with vision, compassion, and drive. With his gifted canines, his creativity continues to thrive. Mark, what'd you think?
You covered a lot of bases, a whole lifetime.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Let me finish it. Join us now on we're here on We Dish, chatting on life score, culture, music, food, and oh so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. We won't be here at night. That's why they invented on demand. And enjoy our dishing with our shared delight. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know. We dish, two saucy dame and cool dude two, Bonnie D and Mark B, dishing on life's fun, now French, pour vous. So, how'd I do? What do you think?
You did wonderfully, as you always do, Bonnie.
I'm glad. You're very, very kind. You've been a guest on several of my shows over the years, and I'm very happy. And I said, you know what? I'm looking for a very interesting, cool dude. And I decided to pick on you. I have something to tell you, Mark, though. I was asked once to apply for Marquis Who's in America, Who's Who in America, because I've been doing radio and TV for so many years. And you know what? They told me I didn't qualify, but they said I could apply as a Marquee emerging leader. What do you think of that? Is there anything to say? Well, you can emerge at any stage of life. We know that. Mark, let's get started. We love to know something about your favorite music songs, any age, any genre, any performer, any style that have been with you through the years that mean something to you that maybe tell the path of your life. Mark, talk to me. Tell me.
Well, I'm going to have to pick Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay.
I remember when I first heard it, the first time it played over the radio, which was certainly different because back then it was, 3 minutes tunes. And here comes this 6+ minute saga. And I was like, what, I never even heard of Queen up until that point. It was like, who did that? I was astonished at the complexity. Um, and it was actually three songs combined into one. And if you there's a very soft part of the song, and there's a hard rock part of the song, and then the fillers in between. It was done really at a level that up until that time I've never heard anything at that level, and I was very very impressed at the musicianship and the whole composition of the tune and putting it together the way it was done. Literally nobody's ever heard of a song like that. And I believe it was at the time, several years afterwards, it was voted, um, as far as the engineering and the sound, it was the number one tune the
Mm-hmm.
last 50 years. And I
Wow.
forget exactly. Yeah, it was. I mean, they made a movie of it.
I know. Any other favorite songs of yours something that you remember from a certain time of your life, something that was important to you?
Life in the Fast Lane, Eagles, another
Talk. Go ahead.
another another tune that was written about the decadence and what have you of a certain California lifestyle and what have you. Um, um, as far as the lyrics are concerned, of course, Don Henley, who was the lead lyric guy for the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, that was what they sell, 120 million albums or whatever.
Probably.
They're a fantastic group, a lot of talent. Glenn, um, um, yeah, Glenn, what was
Glenn
Glenn?
Fry.
Glenn Fry used to play golf here at the country club here.
Oh my goodness. And you got one more song for me that's a favorite?
Yeah, I think we will do Walk This Way, Aerosmith.
Oh, oh,
Now that tune had a beat to it. I mean,
yep.
they even did a hip hop version of it. I mean, everybody knows that tune. Those are three really killer tunes.
Did they have any meaning to any particular time in your life, or you just really like them? They really impressed you.
Just being that I was doing uh, playing in garage bands and things like that, I was just very impressed at the musicianship and the composition. It was
Very
it was a really seriously high level.
Very cool. I want to share some of my favorite songs with you and see if these resonate with you. I think they tell part of the story of my life. Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper. We know
Yeah,
that. You Don't Own Me by Leslie Gore. Remember, You Don't Own Me. I made a music video with the Chaperones rock and roll group on Long Island with that. I didn't
it-
sing so well, so they had their girl singer overdub me on the video, but we had a lot of fun. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar by Helen Reddy. That probably doesn't surprise you. One that you probably can resonate with, Janis Joplin, Me and Bobby McGee, 1971. And the line is,
Chris
Freedom.
Christopherson wrote that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. That has stayed with me all these years. Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar. Well, we've all had, we know that. Respect, Aretha Franklin. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. And the last one of my favorites, is Patti LaBelle's New Attitude. I got a new attitude. I think I've had to do that many, many times in my, and of course, then there's Donna Summer's No More Tears, Enough is Enough with Barbara Streisand. So yeah, so I have a whole bunch of favorite songs that mean something to me because I think they tell the story. I've got a whole list of Donna Summer songs, but I usually talk about those in the show, so I decided to do something different today. So let's move to the part of the show called Off the Top. And I've got some interesting topics here. Since this is a conversation and not an interview, I'll bring up a topic and then I'll ask you to fill in your take on it. Then I'll tell you mine. So, okay, Mark Bello, Mark B, your creativity superpower. What is it? What do you love about it? What do you love not so much about it if there's a downside to it? So, what's your creativity superpower?
Writing and composition.
Oh, that's a something you got to tell me more. Very, very interesting. Go ahead.
Well, I was doing um, radio jingles, commercials, promos. So back then, that was the holy grail of everything, is every garage band wanted to be on the radio, and then once I started doing that, I won a songwriting contest. I had a machine, a reel to reel kickback machine, Fostex, and hired a guy from the music store to teach me how to use it. And within a week, um, it
This
was
is a riot.
there was a song contest. Wrote a song, brought in a lady to sing it, and I won. Won. That was the first real serious composition that I did. Put it
Can
together.
you can you sing it for us? Do you remember it? Can you play sing it for us?
Um, no, but I can do the lyrics from something else I wrote. If you
Okay, yeah. This wasn't in the bio. I didn't have the jingles. I remember you told me once, but that wasn't in the bio. So tell us a little bit more. Give us some lyrics. Go ahead.
This is something I wrote quite some time ago.
Hmm.
Copyrighted it, the whole thing. Started doing some music, but I never pushed it. Life got in the way, buying a house, living. Um, but anyway, this goes like this. Once there was a boy, dollar in his hand, pedaled on his bicycle up to the flower stand, said, "Excuse me, mister, may I buy a rose from you? I see that you have red and white, but I really wanted blue." The man smiled as he said to him, "Blue roses are so rare. Can't you find one just as nice? Perhaps the pink one there." With tears, the boy shook his head no. His eyes looked towards the ground. "Just can't seem to find the blue." And I wrote all over town. "For you see, there is a lady as sweet as she can be, and I am sure I love her. She means so much to me. And mister, if there is a lady, one who cares for you, when you give to her the rose, the color must be blue." The man said, "Hey now, please don't cry. There's others that I keep." And in his hands he held a rose, blue as the ocean deep. The boy looked up with surprise, tears still on his face, said, "Thank you, and I must hurry on, get to our special place." And we should all be thankful for each and every day, for it is said, the Lord, he works in such mysterious ways. So precious are the memories and happiness one makes. We live a gift called life, with every breath we take. And I won't do the last
Mark,
part.
Mark, I've known you for several years. I had no idea. That was, you're going to have to forgive me, but I've got to do a soundtrack to go with that. Hold on. There you go. I have another one for you. Hold on. Hello, Marconi. I have another one for you. Ready? This is the important one. There you go. That's my reaction. The gasp. That
I,
was beautiful.
I,
What year did you write that? You've never sent me any of these. What year was this?
oh, geez, I'd have to look to tell you the truth.
And
Uh,
how did you remember? You did it with such beautiful passion and pathos. And What, 10 years ago, 20 years? Come on. How many years ago?
It's a while.
That's a
So,
lot.
and now,
That was
and there's a
beautiful.
there's a reason why I'm not doing the last verse and the second chorus. There's a reason for that, but you're just gonna have to trust me that I'm making the right
Okay.
selection.
All
That's
right. I will. And I want to do at this point a happy birthday shout out to your mom, Phyllis,
Thank you so
who
much.
just turned 100, and I wish her happy days. That's just what I'm going to say. Happy days, wonderful days. She lives in a house on her own, and she's still driving at 100. And everybody, all right, everybody get on the sidewalk. That's fine. We want Phyllis to have a clear lane there. My mom lived to 100 years, 1 month, and 15 days, and we co-hosted a television show on Long Island, Mark, called Senior Moments, the Happy Ones. And we did over 259 shows in 20 years. And she was the real star. I was the junior senior. She was the senior senior. And we even celebrated her 100th birthday with accolades from local officials and friends on our TV show. And she passed about a month and a half later. But she lived alone in an apartment, and she quite a life. She was Ruth, my Ruthie. So okay, I'll tell you my superpower. You ready?
Oh,
My superpower is making people comfortable enough to talk to me.
that's a natural ability of yours.
There
That
you go.
that took me. I remember we first met on the summit thing. Remember?
Yep. Publicity summit. Yes.
Right. And you were right there, uh and then of course Melly spelled your name, and you were shocked when you first
Yes.
saw that. You were just
Yes.
stopped you right in your tracks. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and
And you've been coming back on my show over the years. Melly's been on a couple of times, and Marconi's been on too. And you brought some of your friends who were also dealing with very high intelligence dogs. So that's very interesting. Yeah. So I think my superpower is just getting people to be comfortable enough and to trust that I will treat them well with respect and kindness and help to bring out their stories. And we certainly brought out yours. Okay. Next topic. Are you ready? I think you look ready. Okay. How do you start your day? I've got my story, your story. Is it a drink? Is it a food? What powers Mark B to do everything you do so well? What do you do? What's it like? Or what's it taste like?
what does it taste like? Well, coffee in the morning with hazelnut creamer. That's the start, you know. Uh,
Uh-huh.
we all have a lot of us anyway, have a little coffee
Mm-hmm.
fetish. Um, and I will drink it cold, you know.
Is
Another,
that called cold brew or is that just called not hot?
it's just cold, not hot.
I thought so.
But here's another thing I do
Yes.
that's different, and I can't, the reaction I get from people, and I've been doing this for a zillion years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times I'll have oatmeal in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some walnuts in it, whatever.
Mm.
Okay, almond milk or whatever, and I don't cook it. And people look at me like I have seven heads.
What? What?
Yes,
What?
yes.
What does it taste like? Crunchy?
It, it tastes like oatmeal with a little more grit to it, you
You
know?
put hot water over it or hot milk or something?
No,
Just
no,
just the flakes, just the flakes.
you got it. And what's better is the old-fashioned flakes, because the old-fashioned flakes will tend to be a little larger than the quick, the minute oats.
Yeah. So the Quaker man is looking down at you saying, "Okay, Mark, eat up."
I'm telling you right now. Well, when I grew up, my mom would cook it for me, milk and it'd be hot
Hmm.
and everything,
Sure.
hot cereal. Um, no law saying oatmeal has to be hot. And when I say that to people, it's like this revelation,
I've never heard of that.
oh, these angels singing from the choir. Oatmeal doesn't need to be hot, but some people, like I said, they have a hard time handling that.
I've never seen the comedy side of Mark Bello before. This is quite a revelation. You've been on my shows. You've never been this. You've been fun, but you've never been funny. This is all right. You want to know how I start my day?
Go for it.
First of all, I can't do caffeine anymore. If I accidentally drink a cup of regular coffee, you have to scrape me off the ceiling. It takes about 4 hours to come down. I used to be able to drink 10 cups of coffee a day. No more. Can't even go near a decaf because it still has caffeine in it. So
Wow.
my go-to drink is I have a Hamilton Beach single serve blender with a pulse button on. It doesn't have an off and on, and it's got the cup with the measurements on it and a little motor and a little top that goes on it. I take, if you ever see a woman in where I live, the Food Lion, spending 20 minutes in the banana aisle of produce trying to find the right best 9 bananas for the week,
That's
that's me. They can't be
wow.
mushy, they can't be gushy, they can't be damaged, they can't be spotty. They have to be not too green, not too ripe, and they have to last a week. That's the deal because I only go to the store once a week. So I put in 8 ounces of 1% milk, except they didn't have any 1%. And the kid in the back, hello, you got any one? No, we don't. Okay, so I bought 2%, but 1% milk, 8 ounces. And it's nice because that way I know how much milk I've used because there's a measure on it. And then I break up the banana on top. Then I use some frozen, sliced, unsweetened frozen strawberries that are sliced. Bought a great big bag and they come out nice. That's instead of ice cubes. Then a squirt of raw agave syrup, which is instead of a sugar. I can't do substitutes because they leave a taste, an aftertaste. And then if I'm really adventuresome, a little Breyer's old-fashioned vanilla ice cream just to thicken it up a little, and then a couple of shakes of Hershey's unsweetened cocoa, the real cocoa powder, the dry stuff. And I blend it, and I've turned it into, Mark, I've turned it recently into a little bit of a meditation session. I didn't realize it, but I will push the blender and then I'll name the people who were important in my life, and then I'll push the buzzer again, push the flip again, the what do you call it? The pulse button again, and then I'll say the names of my family. And then I'll push it again. I'll say more family, and then more, and then my dogs, my grand puppies, Amos and Jake. And then I'll say, and I'm thinking of all the people I know who need help or need something. And I just say that, just put that out to the universe. And then I say, and save a little care for me. And I do the last pulse. I take the plastic top off. I use a reusable straw that I clean with one of those pipe cleaners on that long thing, with warm water. And I use that. And then I come in here in my office, my studio, and I drink it while I'm working. And it's delicious. It's really good.
Thought of the wonderful day.
Yeah, that's the start of my wonderful day, and I enjoy that very much. Okay, let's go to our next
Well,
topic.
one
What?
thing, in addition, I was thinking when you were talking about choosing a banana, it has to be not spotty and it has to be
Yeah,
not too ripe, not too green, not too yellow.
yeah, yeah.
You should call that the Red Riding Hood challenge.
Riding a challenge. I'll go the Radio Red challenge. You're absolutely right. I hadn't thought about that. Let's go to one more topic. Well, I have two more topics. One is, okay, is there something you lost, broke, sold, gave away, or just simply can't found that means something to you that you wish you still had?
Uh, my race car, my ex race car.
Tell me about it.
Anyway, um, it started out, believe it or not, as a 1967 Chevelle Super Sport SS 396, but it actually was a 427 and it had 488 gears, if you know anything like that, positive
Nope.
traction. Uh, and the Hurst 4 speed, and it was just a killer street car. I mean, really quick. And it's the 60s muscle cars. Need I say
Mm,
anything more? Everybody wants them. Just
yes.
everybody wants them. They had a look about them. 100 yards away, you could tell what the car was. That's an SS 396. It's this, it's that, it's marina blue. In today's world, you can't tell what continent the car was made on. I mean, it's like, what brand is it?
You can't tell. I have a funny car story to tell you. I remember when I grew up in Queens, New York, and I remember we used to go to a diner, which was, I think there were 24 hours in those days, my family, and we'd sit at the booth near the front, the window on Northern Boulevard. And I can't believe I'm remembering this, Mark. And I would look out the window while we were having breakfast or lunch, whatever, my mother and father and my sister and I, four of us. And I would say, "Oh, there's a Dodge, whatever," and I would know the make and the model of the car. And I'd say, "Oh, there's a Ford Fairlane," and "Oh, there's a what." And I never really had that much interest in cars, but I could. Isn't that weird? I have no idea why. I must have been 8 or 9 years old, and I could name all the cars going by on the street. I don't know. What do you
That
think?
those cars had character back then. Today,
Yes. Yes.
it they all have the same kind of rounded shape because
Yes.
what's the most aerodynamic shape is of course the raindrop.
Yep.
So you have to have rounded. Back then, squared off, and the look. Remember the stacked headlights? The ones were on top of each other, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh,
You're right. Cars did
they,
have, yes.
they
Cars,
had
cars.
different character back then. They weren't as plush. the cars today get way better gas mileage. They drive nicer and what have you. But, when you had the muscle cars of, a Hemi Cuda or whatever, you step on that gas and you know that you're driving 426 cubic inches with a lot of horsepower behind it.
Not too many cars today have that kind of personality, that visual personality. You're absolutely right. I have several car stories, but the one I'll share, what I miss is that this is funny. I've owned five Nissan Zs, starting from the 280 and then the 350, 370, and a couple in between, different colors, different varieties. And I remember when I had my series of white Zs and I was living in New York, people would stop me, men would stop me at the entrance to the Midtown Tunnel, waiting in parallel lanes, and they'd say, "Hey, lady, you want to sell your car?" It was that popular. People would go by the driveway of my building, apartment building, condo, co-op, and we have underground parking. And I'd come up the ramp, and I'd be waiting to go into traffic, and teenage boys would walk by, and they'd knock on the window, and they'd say, "Hey, lady, you want to sell your car?" I swear, I had people try to pick up my car at 80 miles. I can't say 55 miles an hour on the Long Island Expressway. What sound your car? I mean, making hand signals about the car. It was beautiful. But the only thing, so that's something that's in the past. I didn't lose it. I just had to get rid of them. But at a certain point in time. But I will tell you that the front license plate, I couldn't find a Z when I lost the last one. I was in an accident, and it was totaled. I was okay, a miracle. And the the front license plate was a gift from a friend, and the front license plate is glass. It's mirror, and it says akaRadioRed, which is my name from my Monday shows. And once in a while, people will look at that and say, "Really?" But I had a woman come out of the supermarket the other day when I was unloading my groceries into my car. I try to put them in the front seat because it's a short drive home, and I don't need to open the trunk for that. Okay, and the woman said, "Nice car," but she couldn't see the license plate. I bet she would have said something if she could have seen the vanity plate. There you go. Okay, next topic. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute. I think we have an interruption. Let me see what's going on here. Hold on.
Holding.
Hold on. Hold on. One second. One second. Hello. I'm online. I'm live streaming with Mark B, and he's got Marconi, the brilliant math dog, with him. Who is this? This is Steven Spielberg? You want to talk to Mark? No, I'm sorry. I'm on the phone. He's on Zoom. We can't. Wait a minute. Clint Eastwood is there? Are you serious? Christopher Nolan is there? Quentin Tarantino is there? Aaron Sorkin is. What are you doing? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon East Coast time on a Friday. Oh, a late lunch, a producer's lunch. Okay. So you heard Mark was going to be on my show? Okay. Well, you have a message for him? Okay. Mark, listen up, please. I'm going to convey this message. All right.
Yes.
These directors, producers want to know. They want to make a movie or a TV show, your choice of the genre, the title, who would play you. It's not your story, but the lead character is based on you. So it's not the Mark Bello story, but the character has your characteristics, a little bit of your history, a little bit of your style, whatever the stories you're telling me today. So they want to know, who do you want to direct? What's the genre? Action, drama, fantasy, musical, romance, comedy, sci-fi, thriller, time travel, whatever you want, or a combination, comedy, drama to comedy, whatever. Who is going to direct it? Who is the actor who will play the lead character? And TV or movie. Okay, gentlemen, and wait a minute. Shonda Rhimes is there? Oh, I love Shonda. Shonda, you take care of, you say hi to the guys for me. Okay, we will call you back later after I finish my show with Mark. I really, really want to finish this. Okay, thanks all for coming. Bye bye. They apologize for interrupting. Okay, Mark, what is it going to be? TV or movie? What's the title? What's it going to be about?
We'll probably do movie.
Okay, what genre and what title?
Um, it's a title, The Creation of the Canine Calculators. How's that?
Now remember, it's not about you and your life. It's not your biopic. It's a movie. So it has to be a movie where it'll be based on you, but not your story. So you still want it to be called that?
Oh, wow.
That's a long title. That's a long title.
Yeah. I
How
just
about dog years?
dog is. Yeah, I just thought like, that's like a major thing that I've done in my life.
Yeah, but it's not you're the lead character is based on you, but it's not your biopic. So make it into it's fiction. but
Fiction.
based fiction, but it's based on the character has characteristics of they're looking at the poem I wrote for you in the opening and they're saying, "Oh, this character did this, did this, did this, did this," but it's a fictional character. So now what?
Yeah, so okay, so then we can have a drag racer,
Okay. All
okay,
right.
and
Who writes jingles? Who writes jingles?
who just happens to write jingles. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
and he writes he can write the theme song for the NHRA, the National Hot Rod Association. How's that?
I like that. What would it name be? What would the name of the it's a movie, not a TV show. Would it name Hot Wheels or
That
Hot Stuff?
to
What do
be
you
the
think?
Yeah, it would have to be a movie, and it would have to be um, something like The Point of No Return, because there was a drag racing movie called Vanishing Point a long time ago.
Okay, and who would star? Who would be the lead actor in it?
I guess maybe Johnny Depp.
Whoa, we're getting a high price here. And who would direct it?
I've always liked Clint. I thought Clint Eastwood he always takes the best scripts. I mean, his movies like Gran Torino.
Yeah.
In Matter of fact, the brother of my cousin that I saw at my mom's, uh,
Mm-hmm.
he used to be a camera guy, and he did like The Unforgiven. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he did a lot of Clint's movies.
Very cool. And so this would be an action movie, right?
Yeah, drag racing is action for certain.
Would there be any romance in it? Would be a romance action or it wouldn't be a rom-com. Wouldn't be funny, right?
No, we can have funny. Yeah, we can have funny in it, but yeah, there could be a romance in there too. So,
Okay. All right. Okay.
not.
Johnny Depp and Clint Eastwood and what did we say? Point of no return? Is that it?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. And this would be a major movie. Okay.
yeah, big budget.
Yeah. And we'd have to have some dogs in there, right? There'd have to be a couple of dogs in there.
The dogs would be the crew chief for the car.
Oh, now, hold on. Now, is it going to be animated or a real?
I didn't think animated, but animated could go real
What
quick.
about stop action? Stop action or animated with dogs? And I've had a lot of people, listen, you're my 48th cool dude. Nobody has ever had an animated or a stop action movie.
Yeah,
This is a first. This is
yeah,
a first. This is good. This is cool.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, superhero, right?
I
Anim-
like it. We'll have to work on that.
well, you know that Marconi, he does math. So with with anything of drag racing at a high level, at a professional level, you need a lot of super brains going on there. Not to mention uh, sponsorships. So
I'll talk to them about letting Marconi be in the opening credits, reading the opening credits or tapping the opening credits and the closing credits. Be a great cameo for Marconi. Okay. Well, I'll talk to Clint. I'll talk to Clint Eastwood. That's fine. Mine would be a TV show and it would star either Reba McEntire or Bonnie Raitt because they're both musicians and they're redhead. And it would be a rom-com and it would be a limited series, 6 or 8 editions. And it might take place like Reba's new show, Happy's Place, where she inherited a bar and a restaurant from her father who passed away. And there's a sister from an affair the father had. And nobody knew she was a blah, 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 blah. Good cast, good comedy. Mine could probably take place in a dance studio or in a school, a computer school, something with technology, maybe a school for STEM with people coming together who were young adults, middle-aged adults who were finding a new career in technology and what their backstories were. And either Reba or Bonnie Raitt, I don't know if Bonnie Raitt's a good actress, but she's a good performer. She sang the song that was my theme song for my TV show in New York. I wish I knew the Let's Give 'em Something to Talk About. We were allowed to use real music for the shows because it was a nonprofit station. So yeah, so it would be called something like She Works Hard for the Money, title of a Donna Summer song. What do you think? Would you watch it? Would you watch it?
knowing that you were part of it, certainly.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't be in it, but I'd be writing it. I'd be helping them write
That's
it.
that's a major part.
I would. I would. Let's give a round of applause for what we just did. We just went through our movies. We went through, hold on, let me get, let's give a laugh track here. They're laughing with us, not at us, Mark. I made sure. I made absolutely sure. Now, it's time we're going to do some wacky stories. And in order to do this segment, Mark, you have to be able to say the key word for this segment. And I'm going to say it and I need you to repeat it. Are you ready? Are you up for this?
I'm all ears.
I think you, well, that's Marconi. Okay, here we go. You have to say what? Can you say that?
Say what? Did I have the right tonality?
We got to extend the what. Say what? Bring what out a little farther. Go. Good. You got it. You're in. Okay. Now, do you have a couple stories that are you want to talk about Melly and Marconi? Do you have any other types of stories you want to share? And I'm going to be sharing my screen when we get to my stories. But what have you got?
For a wacky story,
Wacky story.
hmm. I got to search. Why don't you do yours first while I search my memory banks? Okay.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to go into share here now, and I'm going to go into screen. It didn't behave yesterday, but we will see if it does today. I'm going to pick a document, and let's see if you can see it. Can you see my document here? I thought this would be, yes, it came up on the screen.
Flamboyant murders, names for groups of animals.
Animals. It's called Venery, and I picked this article in honor of you and your puppies. So I just compressed this. I didn't know some of these. A venery is an old school term for hunting in the 15th century when wealthy and educated Englishmen, excuse me, pip pip and all that good stuff, came up with names for animal groups while they were hunting. Mark. So I'll read a couple and see if you know any of these. A parliament of owls. Have you ever heard of that?
A parliament of owls.
Ever heard of that? I had never heard of that. It refers to Geoffrey Chaucer's poem, Parliament of Fowls, written in the 14th century. I thought that was interesting. And then we have a murder of crows. Let me see if I make this a little bit
Yes,
big.
yes, I know about murder of crows.
Murder of crows. Dark-winged crows appear in cemeteries, battlefields, or other disasters. How about a shrewdness of apes? You ever heard of that?
No, no.
15th century, shrewdness means wickedness, mischievousness of monkeys. How about a bloat of hippopotamuses? I thought it was hippopotami, but hippopotamuses. Did you know they weigh 7,000 pounds, the adult male hippo? Do you know that?
That's it's a lot of animal.
And they look bloated. How about a gaggle of geese? We all know that one,
Yep,
right?
yeah,
Gaggle of geese. That's a lot of G's. That's a lot of points for using the letter G. How about a flamboyance of flamingos? You ever heard of that?
I think I have heard that. Yeah, yeah. That's a certainly a Florida bird, flamingo.
And it comes from the Latin for flamma or flame, and flamboyance is a French word. In the 1930s, captive breeding colonies of flamingos were cultivated in South Florida. There you go. How about a business of ferrets? You ever heard of that?
Wow.
Comes from a
Uh,
book in 1486. Go ahead.
no, no, never heard of that one.
And that says ferrets are busy and energetic, and the collective noun was changed to from Besynes, busine of ferrets, changed to busyness, and then it was shortened to business. How about a conspiracy of lemurs? You ever heard of that?
It's, no, no, I have not.
That's because they travel in large groups and they conspire quietly to harass predators and prevent each other from getting hurt by a predator. So it's called a conspiracy of lemurs. I thought that was interesting. What about a destruction of cats?
Oh, never heard of that.
Well, a group of house cats can be a clouder, a pounce, or a clutter, but a destruction of cats is a roaming group of feral or wild cats that defend their territory. Interesting?
Yeah, it's like the English language is can be so complex. And then when you add in these things from many, many years ago, it can be quite interesting.
And different languages. We have an aggregation of manatees. As the temperature drops, manatees aggregate in warmer pockets in the water. They're marine mammals, of course. They spend 12 hours a day floating near the surface of the water, and that's called an aggregation. I think that one makes sense. And this one is interesting. A crash of rhinoceroses. Look at the hard words I have to pronounce.
Yeah,
Rhinos can run at 30 miles an hour and they can see 30 feet ahead. Can you imagine that, Mark?
yeah, I've seen them, on those uh when they bring clients out to watch animals or what have you, and I've seen them ram, the Jeeps or the
Well,
bus.
that's why they call it that. This creates the potential at 30 miles an hour, seeing 30 feet ahead, potential for chaos as rhinos are likely to crash into something at full speed. So they call it a crash of rhinos. That's a group. Now, I have other names. We have a coalition of cheetahs. I didn't know that. We have a convocation of eagles. We have an exaltation of larks. We have a galaxy of starfish. The next one, I don't think anybody wants to hear an intrusion of cockroaches. I think we've all seen that. I have roach protection here. Lounge of lizards. I think we've heard of the lizard lounge. We have a pandemonium of parrots. I've heard of that. A tower of giraffes. That makes sense. An unkindness of ravens. Huh. And a wisdom of wombats. Can you use all these words in a sentence in your movie, Mark?
That's right. Run-on sentence, I think they call that, right?
I think so, or a lot of commas and semicolons. My next article is I chose this for you and Marconi. Maple the dog assists with bee conservation and wears a beekeeping suit. Maple is an English Springer Spaniel trained by researchers at Michigan State MSU to detect a contagious spore-forming bacteria called American foul brood, or AFB, that is destructive to honeybee larvae. Maple has her own suit, as you can see. She trains by inspecting hives at the Pollinator Performance Center with her trainer, whose name is Sue Stetschko. Commercial beekeepers must manually inspect hundreds of colonies of bees for the AFB. A trained dog like Maple could significantly reduce that time, saving the bees from destruction. And guess what Maple did before? Okay, you ready?
Right.
Maple is a 10-year-old. She worked as a canine police dog trained to help look for missing people. Interesting?
Very, especially the canine part.
Yeah, so I picked Maple for you. There's another dog that's being trained, a German short-hair pointer in North Carolina named Darwin, who's being trained for sniffing out these spores as well. And then I picked this one as well for you in honor of Melly and in honor of Marconi. A Spanish collector set the world record, according to the Guinness Book, with over 5,000 dog figurines. Now, this man named Maria Gabarro from Spain, he didn't like dogs in real life, Mark. Nobody knows why. He didn't care for dogs, but he collected 5,025 figurines, soft toys, or walking sticks with dog heads in his lifetime, and his children found them and they had them counted and they received confirmation this year in July that these items were stored in two of his homes. And to honor him, they had him listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. Have you ever heard of so many?
That's a lot, that's for sure.
That's a
Really
lot.
slow
I
stuff.
I picked these three stories in honor of you. These are my say what stories. Do you have anything you want to share visually, or should I stop sharing? Are we done with this?
Well, you said one wacky story. I have one story, and
Let me get you back on the screen. There you are. You're back on the screen. Okay, go ahead.
Melly, I was. This was the first um, performance by Melly where it was at Mathnasium. Okay,
Hmm.
so we brought her in, and I don't know.
Wait, tell everybody what mathnasium is. Tell everybody, please.
Mathnasium is a tutoring place for math for kids, 1 through 12 grades, and they did really, really well in the pandemic because a lot of schools were closed and what have you. But anyway, there's about a thousand locations nationwide, about I think 65 or so in Florida. Anyway, so I'm at this mathnasium. I got now this is the first real show that I'm doing um, with Melly, and she was good. She was really really good. And we're doing math and what have you, and and the kids are asking, do my spell my name, or my birthday is June 24th, and she would, 624, that kind of thing. And the kids really bonded with that. Anyway, so we're in front of these kids, and we're doing this show, and Melly was very afraid of noises. And I mean anything strange noise, she was, backing off. Forget about fireworks and forget about, thunder. First thunder in the closet or under the bed, and you don't see it till tomorrow. That's how. So anyway, here I am, and I'm standing in front of the fax machine, and we're doing the show. Okay. All of a sudden, the fax machine starts going off and it starts printing some stuff. And it's not really loud. You get that, and Melly. ears go down, tail goes between the legs, and that's it. It's over. So I'm standing there in the middle of a show and it's a live show. How do you do? So tap dancing, so question and answer period. I came with, luckily I thought of that really, really quick. And the kids started asking questions to me about Melly. And after the machine went stopped because it only printed for about 30 seconds or so, we gave her about 3 or 4 minutes and then she came back to life and we continued with the regular show. But that was like, you want to talk about, a heart.
That is a say what story. Say what? That's a say what. You have one more story? We have a little more time. One more say what? It could be about Marconi. Anything interesting about Marconi? A
Uh,
funny story you want to share? Or traveling with the dogs? Anything?
yeah, very good in the car. I mean,
Okay.
when you bring up, I bring the dog to it could be anywhere, Home
Hmm.
Depot, Winn-Dixie, Publix, whatever, and certain people will react to the dog. There was a lady. We were in a restaurant. This is with my mom, and this lady, she's overwhelmed at what Melly's doing. Okay, we're outside in the terrace, and we're ordering whatever, and we're having dinner, and she's going, "You got to see this dog." So she says, "How did you train this dog to do this?" I said, "I gave him a book," and I was kidding. And she goes, "You read the book?" I said, "Yeah," and it was. That's when you should have had a film crew because there was.
Absolutely. I want to tell the audience, the people who will see this, that Mark has brought Melly and also brought Marconi on my Monday show, which is now called the Creativity Show. And recently, Marconi came on and was able to tap out the equivalent of the first three letters of my name on Monday. It's Radio Red. He tapped out RED on Mark's leg, and Mark gives Marconi a treat and says, "What's the next letter?" And Marconi was able to take, there's a big chart with each letter of the alphabet is assigned a number, and Marconi tapped out the equivalent of the R numerically in the alphabet, the E, and the D. And Marconi is able to do math problems as well. And this is called an eidetic memory, but these are also dogs that have such a focus. And Mark works with I'll call them puppies. Mark works with them so diligently and with such kindness and encouragement that they are able to transcend what we expect from a dog's intelligence. Did I say that right, Mark?
You did that very well. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Mark, I have a question for you before we close out. And I've known you for years, and I learned more stuff about you today than I've known in all these years. So, question is, young man, young person sees you on my show and says, I want to be a cool dude like Mark B. What advice would you give them so that they're, let's say 12, 14 years old. What advice would you give them to have a life as cool as you are leading and choosing to make your life? Because you're doing it, Mark. So what advice would you give them?
I would tell like a 12-year-old, first thing you have to do is you have to have a dream. Okay.
Mm,
Okay. And a dream that you want to accomplish. And then you have to perform that dream. But it's not something that occurs in 5 minutes. It could take 20 years to accomplish some of these things
mm.
at a high ideal. But you stay true to that dream, and it might get modified, and it will evolve over the course of time because you will learn things and you will become smarter as time goes on. Um, and never think that you know everything. Every day you should try to learn something new, I'm very diligent about that.
A crash of rhinoceroses and a gaggle of geese. There you go. And a flamboyance of flamingos. When people ask me that, I've counseled and mentored a couple of younger women in my corporate days, Mark, and I would say, if you see a little bit of light coming through that window, any window, open the window, push the curtains, put the shutters back, open the window, and see what's on the other side, besides fresh air, hopefully. There may be something that's an opportunity, that's something that sparks an idea in your mind or in your heart. If you see the door open a little bit, and I think Leonard Cohen wrote about this in one of his songs, if you see the door open, kick the damn door open and find out what's there. I have had at least, I think I'm on my ninth career, Mark. I'm guessing you're on your fifth to 17th career right now because we saw those openings. Something sparked in us. I believe you the same as I am. Something sparked and said, maybe that would be interesting. Maybe I could do that. Maybe I want to do that. Let's go there. And I think if you keep opening those windows and those doors, you might get a chill if it's the middle of winter, so that's not my fault. But the point is, let the light in, see what other opportunities are there that might not have been in what you thought was your life path, because there's a lot of exciting things out there. Go ahead, Mark. What?
Keep in mind, every man-made invention on this planet, every single one, blanket statement, was impossible at one point
Until it
the
until it wasn't.
first one.
Mark B, you have been a pure delight. I learned so much about you. Thank you so much for being my guest. Let's go out with the music and we'll stay and talk for just a minute. I'll tell you about this song when it's played. I wrote the lyrics to the song, and my friend in Paris, Serge Hoffman, wrote the music, and he sings it with his best non-French accent. And my drums are in the other. Dance with me, Mark. Friday. It's happy hour, honey. I called you honey. Here we go. Bonnie D and Mark B signing off. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon with more cool